Let me ask you a question before we start this. What are the rules? It's like, I'm just kidding.
You got to get 5 in a row.
I'm joking.
It's called Connect 4 and 1 though.
Connect 4 and oh man, that makes it way more complicated.
So welcome to my humble abode.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, so I heard you were beefing with my guy Mo Better.
Why? No.
I don't know. This is what I heard in the streets.
When did you hear that?
When I was in New Carrollton. When they said I couldn't come back home.
Man. Yeah, you know, it was basically, have you seen any of the John Wick movies?
You know I don't like fiction.
I got you. Well, we're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm, we are.
About your sentence, I don't like fiction, which I've actually heard you say, I hate fiction.
Yeah.
Specifically, but we'll dial back to that. All right, but do you know enough about the John Wick movie premise to understand if I were to make like a reference?
All I know is John Wick.
All right.
And I don't even know who he's played by. Who's he played by?
Keanu Reeves.
Okay, so you want to make a speed reference. Let's go.
I mean, you know what? I'm just going to decline. Let's move on. No, let's go back.
I'm smart enough to figure it out, though.
So basically, it's just like, you know, remember during the New Carrollton Wars?
Right.
Back when
of 1942.
Well, no, that was, I think, like the Holocaust and like World War II. Okay. I think we're talking about 2002.
Okay.
Yeah,
85th Avenue.
Exactly. Yeah. That was when we had that turf war between us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, for people that don't know, we haven't spoken in 4, 5, 6, 7, 3.5. I don't know. Pandemic was one long week, so I really don't know what it was. But we didn't want to fight each other. You know, life's. People grow apart for a while. You need a break. And when you see them, when there's really no beef, when you see somebody, it's just, you kind of go back to how it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just like if you beef with your brother, you don't necessarily have to fist fight, or even if you do, it's just after time with the sibling, you just start talking again. Kind of.
Is that what you think this is like?
Is it not?
No, I mean, it seems to be. But
you see how I did that?
But is that what it feels like to you at this moment? Is that the vibe that you're getting from it?
Yeah, because there was no, oh my God, we have to talk off camera first type scenario. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't think so.
It wasn't on site, because I saw you and it wasn't on site.
No, I think, may I speak on this? Am I allowed to? Okay, so I think like there was a time, so for those who don't know, right, we were like roommate. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to talk to you, motherfucker. All right, my bad. Cool. My bad, motherfucker.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Be talking to the non-motherfucker ain't there, right? But the thing is, right, look, right, all right, so
So when we were living together,
I feel so. To get back, so we've known each other and been friends for decades. That'll be 20 years.
Correct.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, I think like you reached a stage in your life when I was at a stage in my life that was self-destructive and going another way, and you were at your stage in your life that was a building creating stage.
Right.
I don't think they went together. I don't think it's deeper than that, to be honest. Like as far as that, I mean, how can you hang out with somebody?
I can agree with that,
right?
Yeah.
So, but when it comes down to it, like in the end, bro, you never owed me money. I never owed you money.
Right.
I mean, not to be crass, but nobody had intercourse with anybody's significant other.
Right.
Nobody disrupted a marriage. You feel me? Nobody wrecked a vehicle. Got all the things that could cause beef where you're like, you know what, I don't really want to talk to them again.
So the funny thing about the wrecked vehicle, it was no vehicle wreck, but I remember one time we were leaving some event. I don't know if you remember this. You jumped out the car and ran into the tree line chasing a deer. You remember that?
Yeah, people tell me about that, and I remember it, but I just don't remember the reason why. But I'm sure I was on with different times and things like that.
Oh man, I'm tripping. Connect.
Oh shit, I ain't even. Damn, you got me with the deer, yo.
I'll see you later.
Yeah. Oh, that got me. That deer got me. Yeah. You know, those were times like that. Like there were times when Yeah. Okay. So I would say that times like that magnified or multiplied times 10 and worse. Like I don't know. Like I just felt like we were at two different stages, and but I think it's definitely I definitely can understand. I'm gonna tell you why I can understand. Okay, like just how things can happen. How you can hang out with someone like almost every day, and then not for a while, but then it be all good. Like I said, not just because of the things that didn't happen, but.
So you know what's funny is you said like you were like on a self-destructive type thing, right? So I feel like that's why it's okay because you didn't do anything to me.
Right.
It's like, all right, if you rock with me hard enough, get your life together and I'll be here. But if not, I'm a step away for a while. And I think it was that. But it was because you didn't do anything to me.
Right.
So it's like, all right. Well,
people were telling me, like, Imp
you didn't shoot a gun at me or anything. So you know what I'm saying?
You know, Imp is big bro of the situations, right? So Imp is always coming at me and is like, yo, you need to get right with Mo. And I was like, what? I don't owe him money. Like, what you mean I need to get, like, what? Like, what is you talking about? Like, he's like, nah. And but he sees that we didn't talk and didn't hang out like we did. But like I said, it was the paths.
So the crazy thing is, you know how when people break up publicly online or whatever have you, right?
Right.
Then everybody looks at them funny as hell when they get back friends.
Right.
Or when people choose sides in the beef, and this is what I try never to do. So if you're beefing with Info, for example, and I choose his side, and then y'all get back cool, you have a reason to look at me funny. It's like, damn, you chose him over me. You're not my man. That's why I stay out of it, because a lot of times people resolve their own issues.
Do you know what I just realized too? None of this is even because top dogs don't beef.
Right.
Right.
So you realize this shirt that I have on, that's too big for me now.
Yeah.
So it was clearly too big for me then.
It's clearly, I had with the.
But look at the order of the names, and this was very much by design. After the Top Dogs, I told him he put every name how he wants, but it's my name, Info's name, and then yours.
Right.
We were that close.
Of course.
We're from the Ville.
Look at the other people that are on there.
From the Ville, though. We got to talk about the Ville. They don't know about the Ville.
The Ville.
You saying, look at the other people that.
There are other people on there.
Some have come and gone.
Who have come and gone, but not in a beef way.
Right.
Because top dogs don't beef.
I mean, but everybody on here is not a top dog. After a certain point,
but
it's just the
affiliates.
People. It's people that were around at the open mics frequently and all that. So what happens is people grow up and go on to do other things. For example, you're an author now.
Right.
It's still in the vein of writing,
right?
But you're not writing in vain. Haha. You see how I can still do that. I can still do
Switched it up.
So, do you like writing books better than writing rhymes?
Or
which one is harder?
Oh, okay. Writing a book is harder because you have rules that you have to lay out, okay? If your character gets their eye shot out in the first chapter, and in the end chapter you have them blink their eyes, you just failed.
Right.
Everything. Like, you just fucked up. In my opinion, I don't care what other people do. That's for them. I don't gatekeep. But for me...
We don't feel like people analyze music that hard?
No.
Outside of me?
Oh, they do? No, they do, because do you remember I believe it was Lil Yachty, who's an amazing artist, but Lil Yachty said that thing, he was like, she'd play something like a flute, like a piccolo, a cello, like he mixed up an instrument and people picked it apart. Right. So no, people do. I'm not, people analyze hip hop. I will never discredit that. I said it's harder for me because of the rules. They're just, for me, it's management. I have to make flowcharts if I write a novel. Like, I gotta have flowcharts that have rules. Like, this character is injured at this point in this part of their body, which means
come
they
back
can't
to that,
use a
yeah.
gun with
Right.
that hand or arm.
I got you.
But what do I like more?
And you're writing more words, so there's a lot
Right.
more to remember.
Lot
Whereas
more to
a
remember.
song, okay, let's say you wrote 3 verses, that's 48 lines, and the hook is another, so you got 56.
Right. But there's similar moments. You know those moments when you find that bar?
Mm-hmm.
Remember them moments? When
Yeah,
you find
of
that
course.
bar, you just be like, oh, right?
The Coming to America, aha.
Yep, exactly. Right. There are those moments in writing too. And the way you know you create them is because you read them in other authors' work. You read a book, it can be nonfiction. It can be a moment where the author says something.
It can be nonfiction for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, so you can enjoy it, you know? But it could be a moment in one of those books, any type of book, where the author says something that just hits you. And you put the book down. And you're like, wow. Like, also cliche shit. Like, wow, look at that. You got to stop and smile. That's the moment.
All right, so let's get to this fiction, nonfiction thing.
Yeah,
Do you think you'll ever write an autobiography?
Auto? No.
You wouldn't write your own?
I have no interest telling my story. I weave my story into my fictional characters' stories to play out that, but I have no interest telling my own story.
I feel like I could tell the story. I feel like I can motivate and inspire somebody. My only issue with the autobiography is it involves too many other people's lives. And they have to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to speak with my mom and dad, like, maybe if they passed or, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, How are your parents, by the way?
Oh.
I haven't spoken to Emily and Sam, and I don't know how long.
That is not my parents' name, but we gonna go with that. So let's talk about Emily. All right. So Emily, she oh yeah, mom is good. Mom is good. We just saw them on Sunday. My wife, my daughter, and I took a trip to see my parents. We had dinner with them after I did the Kensington Road Book Festival. I was trying to get it in the order correct. So we did that. That's what we did. They're good. My dad is good. My sister, you know, she out in Denver. She not out here anymore. Everybody is good. My grandpa just died, so he's not good.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Thank you. He was very old. That happens usually.
I feel like I justify death that way a lot myself.
What?
People were like, yo, like, you went to 3 funerals in a week, and I'm just like, all right, my great-grandmother was 95.
Right, what do you want?
I don't want her to be here and be in pain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
My grandfather was 97.
And sometimes we miss people for, like, a bit of a selfish reason. Right. But I'm like, if they weren't living life to the way they want to live it, I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So my father died 5.5 years ago.
That I know. I don't think I ever told you in person, you know, my condolences for that. Because I've met your father.
Right.
You know.
So the thing, I was able to cope with that because he was sick for a long time. So it's like, you know what comes, but the parent is different than the grandparent, great-grandparent thing, though. Even the cousins dying young or early in the streets, but it's, again, I justify that. Well, he was in the streets. Now that I don't miss him, but he was in the streets. Right, so the parent thing's a little different. So I was just wondering, like, my mom's doing good.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I don't know.
She's still in the home of the streets. She's still in New Carrollton.
You gotta get your mom out of New Carrollton, bro. You gotta move your mom out the streets.
I gotta make an album or something, man. Move my mom out the hood, man. Those squirrels over there, they're getting wild, man. Yes. Sometimes you see the black ones, and you know how they are.
Oh my goodness.
Disrespect. So speaking of black ones, what did it feel like living with a black? Not the one you're with now, because you're married. You know, we'll get into the interracial thing too. But I'm talking about me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you were just my friend, my roommate. But now you got me thinking here, like, I never looked at it like that. But now, in a weird, like, way, now I want to think, like, oh, are there any different? Well, I've never had a white roommate.
Right, so you don't have anything.
I've only had black roommates.
You have nothing to compare
I've had black roommates other than you.
I grew up with so many foreign, white, black. New Carrollton was, like, such a melting pot, so...
Yeah. I've never...
Like, remember when Lil Wayne said, like, I don't want to know if he said he didn't believe in racism, but remember, like, a cop had saved his life when he was younger. That story.
Yeah,
was a white
he
guy.
got a lot of flack.
Right, so it's,
that.
but if it's his truth,
but
like,
if it's his truth,
people don't understand that two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
So let's say a bad person dies, right?
Yeah.
Horrible person that you know to be horrible, but someone speaks highly of them at their funeral. You don't know their interaction with that person. That person may only go on fishing trips with them. So they're the greatest, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, two things can be true at the same time.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Because
I do have a funny story about when we lived together, though.
Which one?
You said which one?
What do you got?
It's not even that bad. So, remember we used to go to the grocery store at first?
Yeah.
And then you hated going to the grocery store? So, remember I bought all that sandwich stuff?
Yeah.
And you remember one time, I guess you were home before me and you made a sandwich.
And I put money in the fridge.
And you put money in the damn ice box. I was
To
like,
replace
yo.
the sandwich
I was like,
supply.
who the hell? Like, bro. I thought we were dealing a lot more money and better than.
Nah, that's ice cold bread, boy. Get that bread icy cold.
Oh, yo, it's like. I was like, yo, he really put, like, money in the freezer. You know,
Yeah.
like, I came out, I remember, because, you know, I used to love those little Celeste pieces. That was my girlfriend, Celeste. And I was like, yo.
No, it wasn't
like,
just,
why are
it
there
wasn't
strip club
because,
ones in the sink and in the freezer, bro?
It wasn't because I actually thought to give you the money. It was more so because a lot of, I realized looking back now, sitting here with you, when we lived together, it was almost like a surreal slapstick comedy, if you will. Like, if it was televised, like the way we were roommates. I mean, yeah,
I know what slapstick means.
Not like fight. I guess that's not the right word.
But that's just.
I don't know how to say it.
That right there reminds me that I have white friends, because black people don't say slapstick comedy.
Yeah, I am your white friend.
Yeah, but black people would say, like, we'd say.
What would you call?
We'd say something like, okay, we compare it to either like Martin level comedy or like Chappelle Show type comedy, or sketch comedy, or.
I would call it more like as far as black comedy, right? Mm-hmm. Like Hannibal Buress or Eric Andre, that surreal, awkward. They're both black.
I know Hannibal Buress' name.
He's the one who exposed the whole Cosby rape thing in a comedy sketch. He was the one who like did that whole. He's the one who blew that off about Bill Cosby. What he got in trouble for? He the one who put that up.
I may have seen.
What I mean is just, I guess maybe also to Chappelle. What I mean is like just that, just surreal, awkward.
Did you really speak this rain up?
I hope not.
That's
is that
crazy.
You got tent life out here.
Yeah. So this is called intense conversations because, you know, me and double entendres, because the conversation can get intense and, well, we're in a tent.
How has this neighborhood and this part of PG and DC changed since I've been around this way?
That corner right there where the circle is,
mm-hmm.
like right there, they killed the Uber driver or DoorDash driver or something, like sitting in his car. I knew that was going to happen when the wind started.
Shall we pick it up or leave it going? What would you like to do? I'm happy to help you put it back up. And then we can push it out a little bit more. Yeah. Maybe there's a way to... And then push out like that. Yep. Maybe a little...
Sure, why not?
You got it?
Yeah.
Alright, bet. Cool.
So...
So the same.
Yeah, it's bad. And then they're stealing, like, they were stealing cars crazy. Like, they stole a car, left it right out front. I feel like maybe because the metro station's around the corner. Because I thought about this, and I almost don't want to say it because I don't want nobody to know ideas, but you steal a car at the metro station, there's really no pushback. Those people are at work. They're downtown somewhere. And
I see what you're saying.
And you done stole their car.
But what
now
about
you had to
the
spend
Metro
you had to spend $4.95 to get the car out, but...
And then they got you on the camera.
Yeah.
You don't think they care.
But people are so dumb. Yeah. And because no one's really... You're not out of place having a mask on now.
Yeah, that's weird.
That like propelled crime.
Didn't
so like even though the pandemic's like died down, like people are walking around with the Pooh Shiesty mask on, and it's like...
Isn't that weird? Yeah. Do you remember when like we would have trouble getting into... Well, you didn't wear flags, you know what I'm saying, but we could never wear a bandana on our face, and then it got to a point when you could have a bandana on your face. In fact, if you didn't have the bandana on your face and you had it only around your neck, they'd be like, put it on your face when you were walking.
Times the pandemic, man, like that, such a weird thing. So, you know, I like a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm like, this one of those population control things. And then they were talking about the 5G towers were causing the coronavirus. I was like, all right, I'm not going to go that far.
No.
I'm not that guy, but those population control conversations are so crazy because you just look at history and I'm just like, they've tried it with those types of things, but I don't know if this was that.
I personally don't think don't necessarily think that there was much you know what, the problem with things is that like we base a lot of our opinions on like anecdotal experiences and all that, and I got COVID 3 times.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I might have had it once. I'm not even sure I had it.
The first time I had no symptoms, but I tested positive, so I had to miss work. Second time, I did have symptoms. I lost my sense of smell and taste for like 3 months. Yeah. And the second time, it's weird, crazy. Right? I know. And listen, this is what happened. I'm not trying to be one of them people who like, oh, COVID, this, that. I'm just telling you
an imaginary friend too? Because like I don't know who the hell you keep talking to.
I know, I'm sorry about that. I'm just telling you my anecdotal experience, bro, in this time that this happened, in that 3-year period, okay? The second time was this taste and that. The third time, I got sick. I had trouble breathing when I woke up in the morning, and then it went away. I also was vaccinated through this whole experience, and that was my experience. Now, I can't say COVID is not real because I had it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was ever doubting it was real.
But no, I know. I'm just telling you the levels of because there were some people who were doubting it wasn't. Right. In fact, I'll tell you something, Mo. I actually
they thought people were spraying it.
Mo, I knew people who actually didn't think COVID was real. Or not that it was a virus, but that it was a test from God. I mean, some people that I worked with, they were part of a church. So you know how there's Baptist and then there's Southern Baptist, and one of them's a racist one. It was a racist one. Which one is that?
Southern Baptist.
I think so too, right? So it was them, and they like had this whole policy which was unmasked, unvaxxed, unafraid. Right. Like that was their thing, and like I watched like a lot of their family members die, and like they still wouldn't admit that it was real. You see what I'm saying? Like, so there were people who didn't believe it was real. They were like, it was just pneumonia.
I knew that was going to happen, but no, I got it. So I knew I wasn't in a rush to get vaccinated, right? But I was kind of indifferent to it. It wasn't a
feel that.
It wasn't a oh my God, they're trying to take me out, or I have to get, like it was. So because I wasn't leaving home, I was here. We were only going to the grocery store and laundromat, so it really didn't. So they mandated it before I went back to work, and then about 2 weeks after we went back to work, it wasn't mandatory anymore. And I was like, damn, I didn't even have to get it. But I wasn't losing any sleep over having it because I had joined the military before. You know, I left.
You had to get vaccinated when you joined
so
the military.
they shoot you up with like 11 things in an hour.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
It was nothing for you to get
like,
with
and
that.
then we've been vaccinated as kids, and clearly it wasn't our decision then. But I'm like, this happened before.
I've been locked up before. You get shot up with a bunch of shit when you get in there. But like, it's just part of life at some points. And like, well, actually, you know what? I don't want to speak too strongly on that because some people had religious reasons or political reasons or historical reasons. They were afraid of the vaccine, and that's fine.
I just kind of, you know me, I don't like to be told what to do. So there's that. So let's get back to our parents real quick. We're going to speak on Father Time and Mother Nature, who is really acting an ass right now. But it is raining. It's windy. This is crazy. But I guess that makes this episode different. You know, the tent doesn't even have the stakes in the ground, so the whole thing might do the Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, I'm not in Kansas anymore thing. The camera might blow it. Right, so then it'll be what it is. So, you've gotten married since we last spoke. Well, not since we last spoke, but...
But no, you're right. You're absolutely right, I have.
So, where'd you meet your wife?
I met my wife online.
Mm-hmm.
We talked. We met up.
On Christian Mingle or
On
just
Christian? On J-Date.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
Jewish.
okay.
So
All
on
right.
J-Date,
Mm-hmm.
we met on there, and then we went out, and we never left each other from that day forward.
Did y'all split the bill on the first date?
No. What?
Of course. So this is a thing, man. Like this is a thing. Those Twitter conversations, the $200 dates, and
those are
all
just,
these things.
Now you want to talk conspiracy?
Yes.
Those are conversations that are put out there to divide the community and to divide certain specific communities.
So you know what I tell people when it comes to relationship advice? Do what works for you.
Right.
That's my advice. Because if a woman makes that much more than a man, but the man takes care of the house and she's okay with that. If the guy makes triple the amount, excuse me, he wants to pay all the bills, and then she treats the vacation, like whatever works for you works. Like my wife has no problem paying for dinner,
but
or paying the Pepco bill.
Wife.
But I might then pay the Pepco bill, and then I might pay for the weekend excursion. Like it's just do what works for you.
Absolutely, that's your wife. I agree with you, but when it comes to the first date, bro, you the man. You gotta take care of everything. I don't care how, like.
I don't think I've ever been with anyone and didn't pay for lunch.
Right.
So I went with one of my friends yesterday for lunch, and I looked up and she had already gave the guy her card because we were sitting at like the bar top thing, and I was just like, "Yo, did you really just do that?" Mm-hmm. And she was like, "Yeah," but the way she looked was like, I have a job. I work. We're friends. Like this isn't a date. Like you know.
Yeah, that's okay though, because you married. So
but also
can
because
pay. They can pay.
I think also because she had bought drinks, so I guess she
gotta
feels
pay.
like she raised what it would have been, and I don't drink, so I don't know. I didn't put that much thought into it, but I was like, I caught her because I was like, I've done that to people where before they looked, I done already paid for it, and they were getting ready to give me a half or take the bill. It's just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? So I had to just accept it, and I was like, okay, thanks. Just thanks. Because, I was venting about things I was going through, and I guess it was like, Mo, I invited you out because you needed to get out. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that type of thing. But, me, I'm paying for it. The next person, I don't know, I might buy somebody an extra large fry at McDonald's or something. I don't know, man. But I seen your picture because you now have a child.
I seen
an album cover looking father of Assad-ish type. You know what I'm saying? So, how's the daddy life, man?
It's amazing. It's incredible. My daughter is very intelligent, which makes the experience very interesting. Not to sound like I wouldn't love her as much.
How
and
so?
that's not what I mean.
No, I didn't take it that way, though.
Every moment is a surprise of something interesting, not just cute.
I got you. I got you.
And too often we reward children, especially girl children, for being cute. Oh, she's so cute. Look what she, right? But my daughter is cute.
And it's like, and look what she can do.
Yes, yeah.
So,
she be saying
do you have
stuff.
a story? All right, so remember that story that I definitely don't think was true, and it's supposed to be about Einstein not speaking until he was 4 because he didn't have anything. He didn't have anything to say. So it was like basically he ate the food and something was wrong, and he was like, "Well, why you never spoke before?" Well, before this, nothing was ever wrong. Yeah, I definitely thought it was a lie, right? But do you have like some incredible, hard to believe story, or just memorable story? Like
sure.
The child?
Recently, she said her first 4-word sentence, which is rare because she's not 2 years old yet.
Okay.
She said her first 4-word sentence, and her first 4-word sentence, my sister, who pointed out, and she's a psychologist, she pointed out, was an opinion. Her first 4-word sentence was an opinion, which was, we were outside, my wife had lit the fire pit. It was her first time since she was a very young baby, when we had lit the fire pit. And when the fire came up, I said, it's fire. She said, oh, fire. I said, yes, fire. It's dangerous. Don't get too close. She said, I don't like fire.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that was amazing to me. And when she said it, I will tell you.
simple yet intricate.
Intricate and interesting and real. And I'm like, good, right, you don't. But also at the moment, I'm also like thinking like that kind of creeped me out a little bit because she hadn't spoken in full. You feel me? But also at that moment,
you
I gotta
almost
be
said bar, full bar. You almost
right.
The rapper,
like full bar.
I heard it.
And she hadn't done that before. But I also have to be a dad. So at that moment, I'm like, no, it's okay. You just want to stay away from fire, but it's important. Fire is important. We need fire, and then I explain.
So then this
is
the thing. When you said it's dangerous, there's like two ways to look at her saying I don't like it. Is she saying I don't like it because it's scaring me, or because Daddy said that it's dangerous, so therefore I don't like it?
Right. And you never know what you're instilling or creating.
Now, the rapper in me hears, I hear stuff differently. Yeah. You also pronounce something differently when you said it. The first time she said her first four word sentence, and then the second time you said forward.
Yeah.
And that's how simple we used to put the bars together. So it's like forward, and then it's forward. Yeah. But then I'm like, maybe forward is in your mind because of the books. So it's a word you see often.
I wonder. I don't know. Sometimes I'll tell you, writing has changed my vocabulary because I read even more than I used to. So you never know how it can make you speak differently. You switch up. Language is so interesting, especially when you talk about like slang and accents and how things are different just in our small area.
I'm sorry, like my mind drifts so much because it's raining and then it just got like bright and sunny, right? And that's where the rainbow's supposed to come out.
Right.
So I just thought about like with gay people how they associate the term rainbow. Is that because they're bright? Is it because they're colorful? Is it because there's like a silver lining to their life that comes out after the like? I was like, why is that associated?
Why did they choose the rainbow symbol as their thing? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
It's funny. I asked myself that the other day, but I was driving, so I forgot to Google. I want to know.
I don't know
the answer. Actually, I didn't know. I asked myself though. I was like, why is that?
That like this is so random. Like, but that's how bars come up. Like that's how we used to write, from the most random of things. Like, or is it because they're not one color? Because like you're white, I'm black, and then it's like anyone could be gay. Is that really wow?
The colors reflect the diversity of the LGBT community and the spectrum of human sexuality and gender, and it became a symbol in San Francisco, California. That makes sense because it can be any person, but uniting under this one.
See, when you stop and think, sometimes you have to talk things out loud, and then you figure it out, and that's crazy because. The irony of my life, how something always connects. I just told you before we sat down, my wife is currently in San Francisco.
It's weird, right? And you remember I used to, I used to work out there. I lived in Oakland. That's just my bottle of water. I'm sorry about that.
I live in the hood, man. You can't just be...
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It would startle me too, like, but I seen it. I seen what happened. I seen it.
No, but see, because I be having animals in my backyard.
Nah, it would be the groundhog.
So I'm like, is there a deer, the groundhog? Like, I don't know what... I thought that... Like, I did the kid walk in the backyard. I'm like, oh my God. Like, don't mess up the interview. That's not an interview, but interview. You know what I'm saying?
What interview you talking about? It's like, nah, just play it.
I was saying, like, how he enters views, like, from the peripheral.
Right.
Peripheral's always a funny word. I can never say it right. I feel like I'm saying it wrong when I say it. Is it peripheral?
So look, right. I thought it's peripheral.
It probably is.
But it could be peripheral.
Like rural, like suburban. Right. Like I don't.
You know what I mean?
Like
it could be.
You have to be a cool cat.
Peripheral. It's in the side of your eyes. You know it's funny.
You should be able to say it, right?
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
And because I've used it in writing multiple times, but
I definitely never. I only use it when I do the no look passes. So then it was like, yo, you got like Magic Johnson pass. I'm like, yeah, my peripheral.
Right. Yo, Mo, I did want to bring up one thing to you while I was here. I wanted to know if you got a chance to see, well, regardless of if you got a chance or not, the beginning of the chapters of this book are Rapper Bar with a rapper from Baltimore.
Okay.
Have you looked? Okay, bet. So look, I want to show you and see if you remember some of these people. Here's a good one. I just opened right to it. That's fun.
I never heard that before.
But you know who that is?
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
So it's a more recent song.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Verb from out Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the people in here. Oh, here you go.
I wish people could experience the angry voice that we developed that weekend with the freestyle with Verb. When we spent that whole weekend, he spent the weekend with us, and we just freestyled every conversation. Coming live from the city, Tupac called the worst city that he's ever been to. Imagine what I've been through. My man Mully Mizzle, down in Atlanta, Mully man.
Yeah, he's doing great. But yeah, when you check it out, you'll see a lot of the rappers that we've known over the years, and some we may not have met over the years together. They get a lot of attention in there because it's so important.
The irony of you, I mean, it's the ghost of East Baltimore, but the irony of you showing me two lines from rappers from Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
So over the years, people have talked recently about we got to bridge the gap between Baltimore and DC and PG County. I was like, yo, WhiteFolkz did that like 15 years ago. I was like, WhiteFolkz used to stay, like we were down there with the 5 seasons with Squirrel Wide, and I was battling with Shaka Pitts in the pit fights, and we had, you know what I'm saying, First Fam and Young Sack, the best flat out, you know what I'm saying?
I saw him rather recently.
And Linwood and all the,
I saw him recently.
That's
crazy.
But you're living in Baltimore.
Yeah. I've been living in Baltimore for a while.
Right.
Linwood, I actually spent some time with to interview for the sequel to this book, because Linwood is from Park Heights.
Right.
So, the sequel to this book takes place in Park Heights. So I had to interview him, and I know a lot less about West Baltimore. So I've spent some time with him, and he was great to spend time with. You know, he works with kids now.
Okay, I may have known that.
I don't know what, but he works at the school. I know he works at the school. I don't know what he does.
The only thing I ever knew about Baltimore is like the front side of Johns Hopkins is a beautiful place, but if you walk out the back door, it is the block, and that is crazy to me.
I won't allow any disparaging talk about Baltimore.
No, that's reality, sir. That's not disparaging.
It's important to me that.
So I used to go to Baltimore way before I met y'all. My mother used to go to the Blacks and Wax Museum.
That's a good museum, my wife likes. Yeah,
and I remember when I was like 8, and like somebody was asking my mother for a cigarette, and I looked at her like. And I looked at them like, do you see a cigarette? Like, what the hell? You know, I don't know why I was so offended by somebody asking my mother for a cigarette, bro. But,
yeah, I get it. I get that. I used to smoke cigarettes. So when I get asked for a cigarette when I'm clearly not smoking a cigarette and haven't for
you don't
years,
see a cigarette.
Do I look like, is my skin that of a cigarette smoker? No offense to the cigarettes, but
I didn't even know you quit smoking cigarettes. That's what's up.
Yeah, bro. Like,
somebody asked me for one the other day, and then before I answered, they was like, "You don't even smoke cigarettes, do you? You look like you don't smoke cigarettes."
That's good.
But I'm just like, why didn't I not look like it a split second before? Like,
right.
I don't know. So what made you start smoking cigarettes?
My wife.
Well, that
they don't be wanting you to die.
That'll do it.
Making you quit the things
that's
be
great
bad for you, I would say.
Yeah, well then she's already making a positive impact on your life.
Oh yeah, they also inspire you to do the things that do make your life better. Like my writing wouldn't have happened in this way. And I'll tell you, Mo, I gotta tell you something. I have been vastly more successful in writing than in rap.
Have you now?
Yeah, as far as
you won Best Male Rapper though. That's
money like I did.
You didn't make money. What? That's for sure.
So the amount of CDs I sold to books.
So is that what success is? Is that what our country tells us success is money?
Oh fuck! God damn, you're right.
I have to because you achieved Best Male Rapper. Okay. You haven't yet achieved Best Male Author. If that, I don't know how.
No,
they do categories.
I haven't won any awards. However, I do have a lot of high reviews and praise from reviewers.
But if money is the end goal, then
well, no. Actually, what it is, the success is this. I'll tell you what it is. All right. It's equal. I'll tell you why. Because when I was in music, my key concern was that the people that I rode with were my first choice. That I would never be somebody who like hung out at the tattoo shop and then went to go join whatever group.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Fuck no. From the moment Info got out of prison, what? Have I ever switched up? From Top Dog. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, so let me, that, before I forget.
But I want you to know with writing, it's the same way. The publisher I work with and the authors that they put out, they are the literary world of the Infas, of the Mo's, of the Rated R's, of the Cyruses. They're people that I'm like, oh yeah, he did what he's talking about. Okay. You feel me?
So, two things, since we're on music. You and Infrareds made the Good Hair Project, right?
Yes.
So, I'm featured on the Good Hair Project, and I just wanted to know, is it because I'm part Cherokee? Because, you know, my father's name is Geronimo.
Really?
His name is Geronimo. You never knew that? I never told you that.
That's a great name. He really missed out when he couldn't have given you Geronimo Jr.
I know, right?
The alliteration aspect of that is just game-changing. Honestly, if your name was Geronimo Jr., you would have no need for any rap name or any name or pseudonym or pen name.
You're Mike Geronimo. I'm Mike Geronimo.
Mike Geronimo is insane.
To the second, because there's already a Mike Geronimo. But most people say Ron, but my uncle calls it Mo, and it used to piss me off because I'm just like, y'all not about to Mo Junior me, bro. I'm like, it's Big Mo over here. Like, we're not gonna little Mo me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That happens if the older relative has the you're right.
But with music, I was telling you, like, they're shooting a documentary called Almost Awesome. They've been shooting it for 3 years. I definitely need to hit the people involved because you belong. Like, you were one of the best rappers for years. Not like, you know how some people have a peak year? You were the top. Like, when people are doing collabs, it's like, okay, we got to go get Don Juan, we got to get Kingpin Slim. Like, it's the same list of people, but your name was right amongst them. So
thank you for saying that.
I mean, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
But even if we were beefing and still not talking, right? So there's been times where people be like, yo, what's up with folks? You still making music? I'm like, nah, you know, we get older. We do this. I was like, nah, he good, though. Like, whether you talk to a person or not, I knew what was going on with you. I knew you got married. I knew about the baby and all that. I'm like, nah, he got a kid. He chilling. I mean, like, he got the studio set up. You know what I'm saying? Him and Info might do a song every now and again. But it's just like, because everything ain't everybody's business. You know what I'm saying? There might be 2-3 people that knew we weren't talking, but that's just because it's like, yo, I ain't seen you with white folks no more.
That's, you know what I'm saying? Because we work together
at all times, right?
Day.
So that's always been my thing. Like, these days with the screen recording, the screenshots, and the group chats, it's just like, there's not a secret. Nobody keeps anything to themselves anymore, and that's not me.
You know something though? Once again, we're top dogs. We're top dogs. Right. We've never had these problems. Yeah. Like, we've had problems, but they're all internal and they get handled as such. I don't have those problems, and I'd like to tell you too that the literary world is as drama filled as the hip hop world, but it's PC.
The community
you get what
leader,
I'm saying? Like, it's very
philanthropy, charity world is drama filled, if not more than any of them. Okay. Because those people are vying for, not me, but those people are vying for grants and things of that nature.
So you have to represent a certain way. Yeah. So it's just like, but I'll tell you something. Hip hop and what we did, it you know. You don't realize you're making history when you're making history, not while it's happening. We made history. There was no one ever as deep as us. Adding Influence once, the one that those the events are pure, he told me one time, Mo, you got to come check out this group. They come and support each other. They're so deep. I was like, for real? How many is it? Can I tell you something?
What?
I felt when Juan got signed to Jive, we were making history. I don't care what anybody say about anything. Yes, Juan did that all on his own, just like everything else Juan did, just like all his success. But that's my motherfucking brother. So when I saw him get signed to Jive, I got signed to Jive. Somebody got signed to Jive Records, and that somebody is the fam.
Yeah.
So when he got signed, I felt personally like we were making history. Because I was at his signing party. Were you?
It depends on where it was.
It was at Pure Lounge.
I remember being
Big
at something.
G was there.
I might not have been there.
Big Tigger was there.
I was at something that was at the waterfront, but I think that might have been his birthday party. Like the Zanzibar or something.
Yeah, I wasn't at that joint.
Okay.
But yeah, so you're right. When you said what you said about you don't know you're making history when you're making history, I went through my brain and I was like, what was that?
I have no idea.
I was like, was there any moment when I felt like we were? And it was that, when one got signed and Jive.
The fact that we used to go to events 50 deep, 20 deep when we weren't even being supportive, that was just a regular night. And like people used to ask like, yo, how y'all get to perform when y'all won? Y'all was on stage for an hour. I'm like, you realize we bought $500, $1,000 through the door?
Yeah.
And we stood in the front and supported everybody all night. So therefore, in hindsight, I'm looking back, it made them shout us out. Right. So everybody that touched the stage is shouting us out because we're the first 3 rows of people.
Right.
So Infa doing that indirectly kind of helped me become who I became in the community world. Right. Because I'm standing there supporting people and then the reciprocation that comes from it. So
that Infa, learning from Infa, has helped me in the literary world because I brand Broken River Books, my publisher, even though it's not my creation, just like Top Dog was not my creation. Just like I own Top Dog and made it my own, I own Broken River Books as my publisher, and I stamp the logo. I stamp it everywhere. I push it everywhere. I learned that promo from Infa, how everything was Top Dog. Everything
I feel like we all influenced each other in so many ways. Like everybody bought a different. Like you might have bought a certain bravado. Infa bought this hustle and grind. I got the community thing, so to the point where Infa does tattoos now. And at Christmas, you bring a toy, there's a discount. You bring a book bag, there's a discount. You know what I'm saying? Young Rebel was doing the same thing with that. So it's just like we all took a piece of each other, which only could make us better because we're adding that person's superpower to our package.
Infa used to like to use the analogy of that. I think it's Voltron.
You just all form.
Yeah, you all form like Voltron, and then you all have different things you can bring to the table.
So why do you still have Top Dog Hill as your Instagram name? And you don't rap?
I will never give that up. That's the best Instagram name anyone could ever have. It's not just a rap name. It's our hood.
Yeah, but
it's our neighborhood.
I get it.
Our neighborhood, bro.
I heard you. I heard the triple.
Right, like I said it 3 times in 3 different enunciations.
Yeah, I get it. That's funny. So
I'm gonna keep that unless like another Top Dog, hopefully a non-music but street Top Dog comes to me and is like, let me get that name. I'm gonna be like, bet I got you. Only then.
Even though it's spelled differently, I was so sick when Kendrick Lamar and them label came out and it was Top Dog ENT. I was just like,
that's okay.
Yeah,
but it's not the hill. The hill's the location.
It's not, but I also ain't a fan of Kendrick Lamar, so I just wanted the reason to be mad.
Yeah.
I was gonna diss him, but
I didn't think you would be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I'm so not. But
yeah.
Oh man, there's so many things. So we were talking about podcasts. Like I told you I like watching Drink Champs and everything, and you were mentioning the white version, the Joe Rogan Experience. So
okay.
Those are times the times where we become
that'll work.
That's when I'm like, damn, I roomed with the white guy.
Yeah.
Because there were things that you did that I just, in my culture, if I lived with my cousin instead of you, we just never would have experienced.
Would you elaborate on some of them? I know there are, but...
Well, my cousin would have probably been in the room playing the drums or the congos instead of the guitar.
A fair point. Okay, so a percussive instrument rather than a stringed instrument.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Some of the books that you read.
Sure. Okay.
Like my cousin probably would have been reading "Make Me Want to Holler" by Nathan McCall, or some. Well, see, there's a middle ground. There's a middle ground because you'd have been reading like Iceberg Slim, and he would have read Iceberg Slim.
Right.
But
I get.
Yeah, the books
maybe
you read.
Maybe the choice of movies because back then we had DVDs.
Oh man, I'm so racist when it comes to movies.
You are.
I've been saying this forever.
But I never disagreed with you because
I'm not wrong.
No,
bro.
because what you weren't really racist. You were just
There were just some.
What was your rule?
I always wanted there had to be like
a
black main character in the movie for me, or like
and a strong white character,
right? Because some white people to me just did not have swag in movies,
so
unless there were certain movies like Face Off where you just got two. Or De Niro and Pacino, like you got two greats, right? So but there's not always
referring to like Shawshank Redemption is great,
right.
or The Green Mile is great.
Right.
These are great movies. Or I mean, even some movies that are movies you don't like, the Supernatural and like those type. Mm-hmm. Still, I've seen you watch them if it has a strong that character dynamic. For instance, Predator. It has
I remember not liking that movie that you named your damn album after. I was like, it got to be great. He talks about it so much. That Slumdog.
Alpha Dog. You mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but you liked the movie Slumdog Millionaire, and I hated it.
I liked the movie, but I more so liked the name. I wouldn't have named my. And also, why'd you hate that movie? That's I don't even remember,
but I remember watching it, and I just did not
India
like it. But there's movies that my little cousin, she likes the movie The Football Player, The Blind Side. I hate that damn movie. I don't know
The Blind Side.
I don't know why.
Can
the
we
acting
talk about
looks like real D-list to me.
Look, right, I'd like to talk to you about The Blind Side for a second. So The Blind Side is a movie that makes me feel like physically uncomfortable if like I'm watching it around my wife and daughter. Because it's like, all right, it's the black dude, he's like big, and they're like the weightlifter, and then Sandra Bullock comes through with a fake accent, and she's like, "Don't worry, I'll save your life if you do sports, and I'll save your life."
Damn movie,
like,
bro.
How is that any worse than like okay, they take advantage of him. I mean, I know he became a Raven.
Right.
But still, it's terrible.
The type of movies I like, and it doesn't even have to be black, but that adds to it for me, is where young kid achieves something. So Akilah and the Bee. Finding Forrester is my shit.
Of course, and it has a strong white and black.
Right, but it's the white mainly. But,
yeah, but it has a good.
But you know what? I like what's the one with Matt Damon at MIT?
Good Will Hunting.
That only because I was called that, and I didn't know what it meant. I didn't understand the compliment that it was, and then I seen it, and I was like, wow, somebody views me that way. Like, you're the asshole, the problem child, but you're a genius. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, so yeah, Good Will Hunting's one of those. So those types of movies.
For me personally, what makes me like a movie or remember it at least, get an experience, think it's a higher form of art, because it is if there's a scene in the movie that is so disturbing or so wonderful that it sticks with me and makes me think about it for days. Like I like that.
What's the movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. was in like the deep sea diving thing?
Men of Honor.
Those types of movies.
So that'll have a moment in it. Mm-hmm. What's the movie where Shorty go back home and his like foster mom is the fucking worst mom in TV history? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
You know Denzel is his mentor. Hold on.
Antoine Fisher. I just said it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why I knew that was coming.
His mom, like I remember like scenes like that, they have an impact on me as like a person, but as a writer, like this is horrible. This is a horrible way to treat a person. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So I just watched Four Brothers yesterday in the morning. I liked the movie, but the more I look at it, there's things that bother me that didn't. Like, I don't know if, like, the acting's not incredible.
It's not good acting, but we enjoyed it at the time when it came out. But it's not a special movie.
Yeah, right. But it's a good movie. It's a good watch. It's a good watch,
Yeah, but there's special movies, I think. For me, also, the casting is really important. Like, certain people I believe and don't believe. You know what I'm saying? In a sort of way, like certain people fit certain sort of ways. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's some people I've heard when they're reading books, they imagine the characters they're reading as like actors or actresses, people they know when they're reading. I don't do that, but I've heard people do that. Yeah. But yeah, let's get back to one thing, because I'm going to have to go soon to head up that road. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to when you said to me multiple times since I've known you that you hate fiction.
Yes.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
My mother read a lot of autobiographies. A lot.
Auto and also biographies.
Biographies too, but a lot of autobiographies.
Okay.
And I don't know, like I overanalyze everything. So when somebody makes something that just it's not possible, like I lose it. So the movie SWAT.
All right, a decent action movie, I would say, right?
Until that guy offers all that money to get himself free, and then all of a sudden people are pulling rocket launchers out in traffic, and I'm just like,
you don't like that?
Like you just happen to have that in your car, in your trunk, like right as that vehicle is riding past you, you just happen to have it.
Like I may be using
like unbelievable.
I think the word is called a Deus Ex Machina. I think what it means is when like there's a normal shit is happening and then all of a sudden da-da-da happens and saves the day, and it's like, what? A lot of movies. So you don't like that? Okay, guess what? A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people think it's cheap. Just like a lot of people don't like fiction where it ends with he wakes up and it was all a dream. Or it was
those are cute. Like
some people don't like that though.
That doesn't bother.
Yeah, things.
It gives you a chance to go fake again. But
yeah,
you know, like when people say, "Yo, I'm so real," maybe I'm too real, maybe. But yeah,
I don't like reading any fiction where the characters are too black and white. I need to have empathy for the terrible bad guy, for the antagonist. I need to feel for them.
We gotta get another one before you leave.
Oh yeah, let's do it. I want to also see the good character be flawed. You feel me?
Right.
I want to see that sort of behavior.
Robin Hood type stuff. Like, yeah, you're helping people, but what you did to help them was wrong. Like
exactly. I want to see complicated people and conflicted people.
You sold drugs because someone's rent needed to be paid. Like yeah, because that's realistic.
Right. But I also love science fiction and horror. So that's why I do what I do.
And see, I feel like maybe it's because they messed horror up. So like
when was it good?
When it was like Jason and Freddy, the first ones. Okay. But then it's like then you got Scary Movie, which is a joke and not a horror. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all started making a mockery out of it by making it comedy, I feel.
I think
but I also don't get I want to say I don't get scared easily, but I jumped at a water bottle, so I guess that ain't true. But
I also think it's probably been...
You're going to lose this game, by the way.
Probably. I also think it's probably been a while since you watched a new horror movie. Damn. Because it's like, yeah, that's what
Yo, it's been forever since I watched it.
There's no way. I mean, obviously. But yeah. That's what I mean. So I don't know if we can say, because there's probably a horror out there that you would be open-minded to, but do you really see yourself taking the time?
I don't know if it was the Baltimore Dwelling, but when you said there's probably a horror out there that I'd be open to. I know, but I heard it how I heard it, bro. Because, you know, Baltimore, they usually like, that ain't no horror.
That is true.
Back in the day, that's just how I heard it.
Still I mean, there may be. Day.
Yeah.
What? Still to this day. Call up Verb right now. He'll hit you with that east side. Yeah, that ain't no horror. Your dog pretty as a whore. That one was always weird. He said your dog pretty as a whore when he see like one of Emphas pit bulls.
Right.
Pretty as a whore.
Like just like are we complimenting it?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't, what's happening
I don't know. Like everything else high as a whore. I'm like, yeah. But pretty
sense.
As a what?
Like
all right, which one? Well, how do we know? But yeah, man.
So before we go, I have to ask you the intense question.
Okay. Yeah.
You may even want to try to dodge it. This is that question that on Drink Champs, you know how you have to pick one or the other, and if not, you drink. So get your bottle of water because you're probably going to drink.
I'll tell you it. Okay.
I don't think you're going to answer it honestly.
Huh?
I just want to see how good you are at PC.
Shit has changed a lot.
Right, so let's see how good you are at PG.
I am good. I've become a writer, so.
All right, we're going to see. This is the ultimate test. Who created the term DMV? Was it 20 Bello or Dre All Day in the Paint? You could take a shot of your water if you...
No, I got something better.
All right, I'm listening.
CeeLo.
Funk Regulator CeeLo.
And DJ Rob at Target Squad.
DJ Rob at Target Squad, all right. That was in the conversation back in the day.
Yeah.
Definitely, people were definitely saying DJ Rob. It's my first time hearing somebody say
I mostly said that because the other two who are my friends are gonna get so upset.
Either way.
And if I pick the other two, that one would get so upset because see, the thing is, as much as none of them want to admit it, and as much as each of them will dislike me for saying this, and this is the least PC answer.
It's your truth.
They all came out with it actually around the same time. And the thing is, they all.
And I also feel like we all spread it, and because they weren't around each other, they don't know. You don't know
they were spreading from different directions.
Right, you don't know if you heard someone else say it and you went to sleep and you thought of it, or what.
We need to talk more about the conversation hinges too much on DJ Rob, Target Squad, 20 Bello, and Dre All Day in the Paint. They are all people who made it, I would say, the same time period.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we not spend more time talking about who made it nationwide? And the answer to that is only one person.
Yeah.
And that is Two-Face, your wild boy. Yeah. There's no question about that. Mm-hmm. If it was not for him saying
hosting the open mic at Club Envy.
At Club Envy and saying it, but also on the radio all the motherfucking time.
And then TGC picked it up after KY said it. Yeah.
And then Nicki Minaj said it.
Did she? I'm not
yes.
sure about that part.
In that stupid.
Speaking of these industry artists.
Stupid, but
speaking of these industry artists.
Certain people said it after. I'm telling you, Two-Face, yo. People need to talk about him.
Speaking of industry artists. So before we go, they like to steal from us.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Everybody always brings it up when.
But they stole from me too.
All right, talk about what they stole from you.
Remember Relentless Dre?
Yes.
He was from Waldorf, and he had songs with Crazy Bone.
Yes.
And I feel like we were both like in his top 8 on MySpace or something like that.
Okay.
And remember I won the Gospel Award in 2007? I made 2 gospel songs in DMV Awards, and I sampled a song called Order My Steps.
Of course.
Shortly thereafter, that song was all on my MySpace. You know, if you're in somebody's top 8, you click on everybody else that's in their top 8, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To see who they are, like, oh, this person rocks with me. Let me see who else they rock with. Shortly after that, Bone Thugs and Harmony did Order My Steps with the gospel singer Yolanda Adams.
Well,
you know, I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah. I also don't believe...
Why all of a sudden would they do a gospel song?
I also do believe in Crazy Bone and Yolanda Adams.
You believe in Crazy Bone and Yolanda Adams?
Yeah, I mean, Crazy Bone was an important part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Like when I was, I'd say, let's see, I got locked up on it. So like 13, 14 years old, I really loved that song with Project Pat when he was like, up there. Smoking that weed will get you up there. I don't
like Project Pat, so I wouldn't have. He raps too slow for me. My mind moves way too fast.
Mo, sometimes it's all right to appreciate something for what it is without actually
I agree with that, but it's hard for
liking
me to do.
It yourself. I know.
I do agree with that.
I'll tell you, I became a much I was missing out on a lot of stuff. And I'll tell you this before I go. And I'm not giving you advice for this, but I'm just talking about my experience personally. I was missing out on a lot of stuff because I had opinions. I'll say this as a funny example, but it's a greater thing. I would make comments like I would never listen to J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar or Wale. You know that. And then I heard a J. Cole song where he's like, my neighbors think I'm selling dope.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, damn.
I mentioned that song yesterday.
I was like, look at this empty ass beat, these lyrics. Oh, he rapping double time on it. I was like, yo, this shit crank. And then my wife is all like, yeah, you just gotta stop being negative.
You did the same thing with Wale. I remember you calling me, telling me about that Ambition song, and you was like,
I was like, it's a good song.
Meek Mill and Ross, yeah.
It's a good song.
So, yeah, I get it.
Let's mob because I have to pick up my daughter from daycare, and I gotta drive all the way up the road.
The daughter of David's.
Yo.
I'm glad you had a daughter, because the son of David is kind of
I'm really glad I had a daughter, too. She's amazing. She's, like I said, very smart, very fun, very interesting, very opinionated. I'm interested to see what happens as time goes on.
Well, I appreciate it, sir.
It was a pleasure to see you, bro.
I'll give you the white man business handshake. No, the white man business handshake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna